Hello everybody, this is Terry Jeanette with the Tapping Flamingo. In today's video I'm going to talk about our recent trip that we took all the way to Doha, Qatar. We flew from Monroe, Louisiana to Dallas and then the 14.5-hour trip all the way over there. So I'm going to give you a bit of tips and some things to expect. And first I'm going to show you some videos and pictures. All right, so just a little bit about our trip. We left the Monroe, Louisiana airport. Well, we were supposed to leave about 10:15, but because we had some issues with one of the luggage compartments overhead not opening up, they couldn't get it to open or close. It was kind of stuck in a half open, half closed with some luggage in it. We could not take off. So they had to have somebody come in and fix that, and that took about an hour. And of course, it was right over where we were sitting. But anyway, we were a little late taking off, but we got to Dallas in about an hour. And we didn't really have anything to worry about because we had like about a 5 or 6 hour layover. But some of the people on our flight, they missed their flights, their connecting flights. But American was really good about getting them on another flight. So anyway, we get to Dallas and we go get us some dinner and we found a place to sit. And by this time we had about 4 hours left on our layover. But it didn't seem too long. I mean, I called my mom, I talked to my sister, we met some people, so the time went pretty quick. And it takes about an hour or so for them to board the plane, so about a little more than an hour beforehand, they start boarding. We watched the airplane come in, and shortly after that, the flight crew showed up, and they all came together, and they all looked very sharp. I have to say, I was really impressed with the way they looked, and I guess their aura, something about them. They just really looked sharp, and they were top-notch. The service we had was great. I'll be honest with you, I was a little surprised in how small the plane was. I was expecting a bigger plane. Back in the day, 40 years ago, when I was a college student and I used to travel from Florida to Idaho and Utah for school, the planes were bigger than the one we just took to Qatar. They were L-1011s, and there were 3 seats on each side with 5 in the middle. This one was a A350-1000, and it had 3 seats on each side with 3 in the middle. So you had 9 across. And of course, you don't have the leg room you used to have. Back in the day, a lot of those flights that used to go international, overseas or whatever, they were like 747s. They were a lot bigger. But at least they weren't as dinky as the one that was from Monroe to Dallas. That is a tiny plane. But anyway, I'm going to kind of look through my journal. I like to keep a journal whenever I go anywhere, just to kind of remember, because I will eventually scrapbook all my pictures, and I get my journaling from here, because you're not going to remember all the little fun details that you think are interesting. So I suggest get you a little journal and write about what happens and your thoughts. And if anybody asks questions about your trip, you can look back and give them accurate information, because you're not going to remember. So after they had the plane all cleaned up from the previous flight and had it all situated, and the flight crew got on and got situated, we started boarding, and my husband and I had a middle seat and a window seat, and he told me he wanted the middle seat, so I sat on by the window, and on the way back we switched, and I think he was much more comfortable being in by the window. I am quite a bit smaller than he is, and so we should have done that to begin with. But we got all situated and we took off. So I'm going to finish this up by just letting you know that long plane trip was really not that bad. Not as bad as I thought it was going to be. One of the things that they do to help you be a little bit more comfortable is they do give you blankets, and they're sealed in plastic wrap, and so they're clean. They also give you a pillow, which is also clean. I did bring one of these, and I used it a little bit. It actually worked better when I was in the middle seat than it did when I was on the end. My husband and I both used that. And they also give you a packet of stuff. Let me show you what's in here. They give you some lip stuff, which I really like this. I wish I could find where to buy it because I really liked it. They give you a little bitty tube of toothpaste and a toothbrush, which I did use this, not on the plane, but when I got to Doha, I wanted to freshen up a little bit before I met with my sister-in-law. These little ear plug things, I didn't really need them. A little mask thing. A lot of people use these. I didn't. And socks. But I already had my compression socks on, which is very important, particularly if you've had any injuries or you're older like I am. I've had blood clot history, so whenever I fly, no matter how long it is, I always wear my compression socks. And they have some pretty cute ones too. But it's important that you do wear compression socks. And to be honest with you, I think everybody should. I wore slip-on shoes, so it was very easy for me when I sat down. I could just slip my shoes off, and then when I needed to get up, I could slip them back on. Speaking of getting up, you need to get up and walk around quite frequently, and that's not a problem. People do it all the time. They're walking around. You need to get that blood circulating. That helps to avoid getting any blood clots. I do know of young people who have actually flown on these flights before who have developed blood clots, and I know of one person that actually passed away on the plane of a blood clot. So that is really, I can't stress how important it is for you to be careful and do the right things to avoid that. One of the things too is to keep yourself hydrated. That doesn't mean drinking Cokes and coffees and teas, but water. Water. And to be honest with you, when I fly domestically, I try to avoid drinking a lot of water because I don't want to have to go to the bathroom. But on a 14, 15-hour flight, you're going to have to go to the bathroom. So I just sucked it up and drank quite a bit of water. Also, it gave me an excuse to get up and go do something. Let me see. We got pillow, blanket, went through the little goodies that they gave you. Comfortable clothes, in addition to your compression socks, which I'll be honest with you, those are not that comfortable, but wear them. But I wore loose jeans and a loose shirt, and I was very comfortable. I had a sweater because I do tend to get cold because that little blanket is kind of thin. It was not enough for me. Let's see. Clorox wipes. I just put them in a baggie like this, and that bathroom can get pretty nasty. So it's one of those things, you go in there and do your job and you leave and you don't try to touch anything, but you can use, hand sanitizer or some wipes to get yourself clean, And let's see. As far as getting up, okay, I suggest that you have the window seat. That's easier for you to be able to lean against something if you want to rest, if you're traveling by yourself. Now, my husband and I were traveling, so one of us was at the window and the other one, we could lean against the other one. That was not an issue. As far as the aisle seat goes, I hated bothering people to climb over them, but it was not an issue because they were up quite a bit. In fact, I kind of timed it where when they got up, I got up. That way I didn't bother them as much. And in general, people are pretty nice about it. Most people fly a lot like this. As far as things to do, I am a crafter. I make jewelry. I did not take any of that to do. I was afraid to take my crochet hook. I thought maybe they would take it away. So as far as any crafting, I did not do any of that. To be honest with you, there really wasn't room to do any of that. But they have a ton of movies you can watch. I watched a lot of movies. I'm not much of a TV or a movie watcher, but I was on this flight. One thing I did like is they had, there's 3 cameras on your plane, and so you can see below. You can, coming back, we could see Iceland, and it was just really pretty cool. Going, it was dark, so you couldn't really see much, but coming back during the day, it was really pretty neat to see things. Movies, what else? They had a lot of maps where you see where you are. You could also watch videos about Qatar, where we were going, some things to do and history and all, and that was quite interesting. Bring your journal, write in your journal. If you're a reader, you'll get a lot of reading done. I'm not a reader. I get too distracted. But anyway, I think that's pretty much all that I wanted to touch on. Um, like I said, it was not as bad as I thought it was. And I did have some essential oils to keep me calm. Lavender worked really well. And anyway, I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. If you have any questions, ask them in the comments and I'll try to answer them as best I can. I hope you give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And most of all, you have a wonderful day. This is Terry Jeanette with the Tapping Flamingo signing out for now. Bye-bye.